Welcome to my video on how I made a land diorama for a 2003 Grandeur Noel 44-piece Bethlehem Village City. I purchased a miniature brick roller on Amazon for the cobble street. I cut a dowel to use as an extension to the roller. Created a raised platform for the temple with extended steps. As you can see here, I used the brick roller on the foam before cutting. Here I am slicing the walls slightly in order to curve it around the platform. Here I am using a ballpoint pen to hand draw the stone wall. I then glued the steps and walls together. The diorama base is to be 5 feet long and 22 inches deep. I cut 2 pieces of foam, one as the base, that will be the grass, and one for the brick walkway. I cut these in half to make it easier for storage. I then cut thin foam and rolled it with the brick roller. I cut the walkway and glued the thinner bricks on. This allowed the building platforms to be recessed in and be at the brick walkway level. I added a stream on one end for the pool and cut holes in for the lights that came with the set. I deepened the cobblestone crevices with a ballpoint pen. I created a walkway to hide the split between the two halves, and created a fence for the front to further hide the split. I drew the stonework walls and glued them onto the walkway. I added some air-dry clay for the transition of the stream to the pool. I mixed some acrylic paint to match the main colors of the buildings. I added decoupage and sand for texture and painted the brick walkway. Here I took some watered down brown acrylic paint in order to make a wash. I wanted to highlight the crevices in the stonework and to give it a weathered look. made two tower torches, lamps, whatever you call it, with just a straw. I wrapped it with decoupage and Kimtech paper. And then I painted it with the same coat that we painted the rocks and bricks and the walls. This will be a flicker light that will be put in there. Originally, you also used this as the cone, cut it right out, melted a hole through that, same size as the tube, and glued it on, decoupaged it, and it's ready to go. I drilled 2 holes for the torch wire on the temple mount. The foam was cut underneath for wire access. I glued 3mm flicker lights to the torch. Glue was added and stretched to simulate flames. The torch lights were assembled and then tested. Here is the fully lit temple. Well, the gatehouse didn't have any lights, and I thought, oh, wouldn't that be cool to add some lights to it? I purchased flicker lights, 3mm LED flicker lights, and I wired them within the cavity with a bendable wire in order to keep them in place. I then connected them to a Wago connector and then a banana plug, and I found a 12-volt 2-amp power supply. Here is the fully lit gatehouse. I added a small lamp torch beside it as well. Here I am adding a flicker light to backlight the translucent wood fire of the pool structure. I covered the pool structure with plastic so that the clay would not stick to it. I then added some air dry clay to the flicker light wires to help conceal them. I then added air dry clay rocks to help the transition of the stream to the pool. Here is the backlit wood fire. I went and got some clear 3mm LED lights. I wanted to make a spotlight. So what I did is I took a shrink wrap actually, and I put it on and just melted the one end, so I got a nice little focus light to come down like that. Added some more connect wire. I wired it through the top here, and then put moss over it to hide it, and then hot glued it to the top up here, and it gives you this spotlight effect. That highlights Jesus. I created a template of the stream bed. Using a sheet of simulated water plastic, I cut out the shape of the stream. Acrylic paint was mixed to match the pool color, and the stream was painted, and the plastic simulated water was placed on top of it. A mixture of acrylic greens and ochre was painted throughout the grassy area. I then decoupaged the entire lawn area. While it was wet, I added a little bit of sand and gravel. I then used a static grass tool to add different colors of green and tan grass. I cut the bottom foam to ensure all of the 12-volt flicker and white LED connect wires could be routed in order to connect them to a 12-volt 2-amp power supply. I used Wago connectors to connect all of the LED wires together in parallel. I then attached them to a single power jack adapter to connect to a 12-volt 2-amp power supply. I also made sure that the bottom foam was cut in order to accommodate the 120-volt AC lights that came with the kit that lights 5 of the buildings. And here is the final reveal.